Today is our third day of webinar series. I'm Sripra and I'll be your moderator for today. Today we have our speakers, Ms. Hanan binti Muhammad Sufyan and Puan Sri Idawati Mat Zain from MyPac. They will be talking to us about the career in accounting and also the scholarship opportunities. So before I begin, let me introduce the amazing organizers of this event, University Malaysia Sarawak Accounting Society, so short for UNIMAC. So UNIMAC is a accounting student society which aims to empower the students in accountancy. So hence, in conjunction with our annual event that we do every year, this year our webinar series is themed Mind the Gap, which is to give in-depth of knowledge and understanding on the accounting career and also the importance of professional accountancy in the field. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are excited as I am. So before we begin, let me introduce our speakers, a brief introduction. So first we have Ms. Anan binti Muhammad Sufyan. Ms. Anan is currently a senior audit in Ernst & Young and a member of Qualified Chartered Accountant in ACCA. She is also an active speaker that is inspiring students to pursue their passion. And next we have Puan Sri Idawati, who has more than 14 years of experience at ACCA and is currently the head of development for MyPac. She completed her Master of Business Administration in the University of International Malaya Wales and is currently asking students to continue their passion and will also go in depth on the scholarship opportunities that you can follow to actually pursue this. So how are you guys feeling today? I hope you guys are excited. We have like a lot of questions, especially these 3 days that they keep on asking about what is the work-life balance of accountants. So today, Ms. Anna will be answering the question finally. Okay, and then we also have the scholarship opportunities by Puan Sri Idawati that will help all the students who are struggling, who you feel you have no more path to follow. So I pursue you guys to listen, to ask questions. If you don't know, we'll give the Slido link. They are open to answering your questions. So if you guys are excited, maybe you can like spam some emoji, give us like, some excitement, give us some energy before our speaker starts for the day. All right, Miss Hanan is excited. So how about the rest?
We cannot wait. For people who haven't joined, this is like an opportunity for the rest of us. Really cannot wait. I'm interested in it also. I'll be staying tuned to this.
Yes, okay. So without further ado, I'll pass it to our speaker, Miss Anan and Puan Sri Idawati. To you, Miss Anan.
Okay. Hi, Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Please let me know if you cannot hear my voice or if it's not clear. Okay, so just thank you so much for the introduction just now. So first of all, I would like to thank the organizer and also MyPac as well for this opportunity to share a little bit of my experience and also perhaps to enlighten you guys further regarding any questions you might have regarding a career in professional accountancy. So first of all, again, just a brief introduction about me. My name is Hanan Muhammad Sufyan. You can call me Hanan. Okay. So basically I started my journey in accounting back in 2014 when I started my studies in CAT, Certified Accounting Technician. Okay, so CAT is basically the foundation level for ACCA. All right. And after I finished my CAT studies, I furthered my studies in ACCA, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, and I graduated in 2018. Yeah. Okay. So after I finished my studies in 2018, I actually got a job as an audit assistant or audit associate at one of the big four accounting firms, which is Ernst & Young. All right. And ever since then, so that was my first job. All right. And I stayed until I am now an audit senior too at the accounting firm Ernst & Young. So I think many of you, or probably most of you, have heard of the Big Four before. I believe it's a term that is common between us who are in the accounting field, right? Okay, so perhaps I just want to kickstart our talk today with maybe I just want to ask anyone from the participants if you can share with me your, what's the reason you are joining this talk today, and why do you have interest to pursue ACCA? I mean, anyone from the participants is welcome to answer the question. Please don't be shy. It's a free and easy session. We just want to understand. You can unmute your mic, I think.
Miss Anna,
anyone at all?
If I may go first.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so basically ACCA, from the start we start accountancy, right? When we start learning, we are like excited of the, like, it's so easy at the start, it was so easy. So we're like, okay, to pursue further, you want to go ACCA, you want to go MIA, and then I was like, ACCA is like the best. And the Big Four, when we hear about the Big Four companies, Ernst & Young's and Baker Hughes, we hear about KPMG. So we are like, if we want to actually pursue this, we like the workforce and then how we want to do it. I think for me that's the one thing I've always like want to do professional accounting. So like I get this like name. I get to help others in their taxation. It's kind of like a lawyer kind of thing, but in like in maths, in numbers.
Yeah, and I would also like to add that this is like another step into pursuing our career, like how we can be more professional in this field. And overall, this is like a good exposure for me. And I'm not sure if it's for the rest also, because I have joined before. I have not joined the MyPac session before, so I'm very curious and excited to see what is MyPac all about.
Okay. That's good. It's good to know that you guys are very high-spirited and very highly motivated. That's a good start. Okay, so actually that is the first thing that you need when you want to, venture into this whole professional career in accountancy. Okay, so today I think the first part that I would like to stress on is perhaps many of you have heard from here and there about career opportunities in accounting, right? But maybe you have heard like, in pieces, or sometimes you can't really make sense of everything that you have heard because you are not in the field yet, right? So I was there as well. I was, back in my study days, I wasn't exactly very clear yet until I joined the workforce. But I think today what I would like to do is perhaps to broaden your mind further about what are the career opportunities that are actually available for you once you actually finish, because I was made to understand that most of you are from accounting and degree in accounting background, right? So perhaps for you to kickstart your career in professional accounting, I can enlighten further how is the journey briefly gonna be like. So basically, after your studies in degree level, so for most people, they will be able to get exemptions for most of the ACCA papers, and you'll be left with 4 subjects, right? Or 4 papers at professional level, at ACCA level, okay? So usually, if there's no hurdle and whatnot, you can finish these 4 papers within 1 to 2 years usually, but of course the experience varies for each and every one. Okay, and then afterwards it's either you do it part-time or full-time. Okay, so and then you have to complete your 3 years of working experience, which is the PR requirement from ECCA, and then afterwards you'll be able to get the ECTA title and put it at the back of your name. Okay, so I think that is the aim for many people who, the short-term aim, I would say, for many people who venture into the professional accounting field. Okay, so but actually, what is, what's the objective? Like, why are we like so eager to, get this title at the back of our name? Why is this so important? What's the value of this title? And actually, even after you graduate and what is the work opportunities that are available for you at the first place? Like, what are the things that you can venture into? Okay, so I will stress on for me, because my experience was more to auditing, so I think that is where I can highlight more on. But of course, I will also briefly share the journey in other fields as well. Okay. All right. So once you finish your degree studies, right? Perhaps some of you, and I think for many accounting students, they are being sort of like not imposed, but they are being told that, okay, a career in audit is like the best field that you can go to after your studies and whatnot. But I will say that is not necessarily the case. Okay, there are still many other fields that you can venture into. You can actually go for finance as well. Okay, you can go for accounting, meaning like you can start off as an accounting executive as well. So it depends on what you actually like. Okay, so you can actually there are actually many opportunities. So it's not per se that you must go or you must venture into auditing after you graduate. Okay, there are many opportunities. So, but perhaps many of us were sort of like promoted or inspired to go to the Big Four, to join the Big Four after you graduate, because of the, I would say, first, the marketability of the career itself, and second, perhaps the opportunities and experience that you will attain from working at the Big Four. Okay, so as someone who has worked at the Big Four, I don't deny this. Okay, so when I started, I was a fresh graduate. Okay, since I was not a degree student, so we didn't have any internship requirement. Okay, because I think for most degree courses, you guys will have to undergo internship for a certain number of months, right? So, but for me, that wasn't the case. So when I entered the Big Four, it was my first time working, being in a real working experience. So I was very, very blur. I knew nothing. Like I was not very good with Excel as well. Few months, but and of course I struggled a lot, and I think for most of you, I don't know, but I think it will be slightly easier for you to adapt with your internship experience, because internship would have given you sort of like a feel or a glimpse of how working life is like. All right, but for me it was a total shock because I never worked before, and then boom, I entered the Big Four. Okay, so the first few months I struggled a lot in terms of trying to understand the system, the way we work, okay, and how do we work around things, okay. But as time goes by, definitely you will have to go through trainings, and then you'll be working with your teams. So eventually you start grasping the knowledge, okay. So you start understanding how the flow will go, like as you as you work. So the first year, I would say, was a very, very huge struggle because you are very new. You are not really sure yet on how to work around things. Okay, but I would say, and this is actually for many people whom I observe. Okay, from my observation throughout my working years, is that many people actually leave the firm or actually resign, okay, during their first few months because they are very pressurized by you know, by the fact that there are a lot of things that they do not know and they feel like they won't evolve from this phase, okay? So just a heads up for all of you, many of you will face this phase, and I want you to know that it's okay to not know things, okay? And it's okay to take your time later on when you start working, all right? So, and do not give up at this early phase, okay? That's why the first question I asked just now was, why do you want to pursue this thing? Okay, why do you want to pursue ECC? Why do you want to get that chartered accountant title so bad? First of all, you need to have a purpose, okay? Because once you reach that stage in your career life later on, the only thing that will make you not want to resign, or the only thing that will keep you from resigning, I would say, you will feel like resigning, because of the pressures and whatnot, but the only thing that will keep you or stop you from doing so is your purpose, okay? So whatever it is that you are doing in your life, be it career, be it anything, okay, you need to have a purpose first, okay? So that's why that was the first question I asked. So you need to ask yourself first, why do I want to pursue ACCA? Why do I want to go through this whole professional accounting career field? Okay, set your purpose first, and then I believe the rest will flow in its place, okay? Because no matter what happens later on in the future, your purpose is the only thing that will keep you moving in the choice that you have made, all right? Okay, so it's important to set a purpose that you can relate to and that you can relate to, and also that you can actually relate to what you are doing. Like if you're working in the Big Four, you need to have you need to be able to connect your own self purpose to why you are working at the Big Four. Okay, don't just work at the Big Four because everyone tells me it's the right thing to do after I graduate. No, you need to know why. Okay, so same thing if you decide to go to a multinational company, work at the accounting department instead. Again, you need to know why. All right, so it's a matter of choice. There's no one right career after you graduate. Right? Okay, so back to my experience. Okay, so during the first year, it was a very, very huge struggle for me. I struggled a lot, but I can say that the first thing that kept me going was my purpose. Okay, because I knew I wanted to get the ACCA title, and I knew that being in audit was one of the quickest ways to get it, right? There's no denying that, because auditing is a very dynamic and fast-paced career, okay? In 1 year time, you learn a lot. Every day in your working life, you learn something new every day. Up until now, I still learn something new every single day, all right? And but of course, it comes with a price whereby you are not I won't say forced, because force sounds negative. It's more to like you are required to to be agile, to be able to adapt to the fast changing situation. Okay, so of course at some points you will feel pressurized, you will feel like, oh, I can't do this, I can't take this anymore. But I believe this is where your character is built, and also this is how your strength, your internal strength is also built, okay, throughout the career. Okay, so actually, how do we, apart from having an internal purpose, or our own purpose of being where we are, what else can keep us going? right? So I would say the second thing is to build connections. Okay, so once you start working later on, you have to learn how to build connections with your colleagues. Okay, so auditing is a very I would say it's a teamwork kind of career, I would say. Okay, when you start working in audit, you don't work alone. That's the good thing about this career. Okay, you will be assigned to a team, and then you will be working with teammates. So as a staff, okay, at associate level, so you will have a senior above you, and you will have managers, and then for every single audit engagement that you're assigned to, there will be an audit partner. Okay, so there is a hierarchy, and everyone actually works as a team. Okay, so there's no need to worry, you can always ask questions. Okay, and the same thing goes if you work in a tax department, for instance. Okay, so there will be managers, there will be seniors, there will be staff, and then there will be a partner as well. Okay, so you must learn how to build connections with your team, and also with your batchmates, people who are at the same level or ranks as you. Okay, because sometimes you don't feel comfortable asking questions to people who are more superior than you, right? Okay, so that's why it's good to have connections with your batchmates or people from the same rank as you. Okay, because sometimes you feel like my question sounds too stupid for me to ask to someone else. Okay, so that's the reason why we need to build connections with our batchmates or people who are at the same rank as us. Okay, so and also it's healthy for us, to have connections with other people, with our team and our batchmates, because you don't want to be talking about work the whole time, right? When you're working, you want to socialize as well. So all these things combined together, it will keep you going, because I believe most of you have heard of how stressful it is to work at the Big Four, and then it's long working hours and whatnot. Okay, I'm not gonna stress too much on that, because I think you have heard from many people, and I'm not gonna deny it. It's true. Okay, but there's also ways for you to overcome it. Okay, I'm not trying to scare you in the sense that, oh, it's a hard working life, you'll be spending most of your life at work. No, that's not what I'm trying to focus on. I don't deny that it's a very demanding job, I would say. Okay, it requires a lot from you in terms of internal strength, okay, and motivation as well. But it's also, like I said, a career that will really build you internally, okay, in terms of your character, your internal strength, and in fact your interpersonal skills as well. Okay, because it requires you, like I said, in order for you to really survive and go through the working life, you need to have good connections, okay, with your team, with your batchmates, and also actually with your clients. Okay, if you work at the Big Four or any not necessarily Big Four, okay, if you go to medium accounting firms or even small firms, you will be engaging with clients. Okay, so all of these will again require you to build good connections and interpersonal skills with the people who you work with. Okay, so it is healthy, and it will help you a lot when you know how to make good connections with people. Okay, even with clients. Like I have one client who I can say like we are like very good friends, I would say. Like even she admitted to me that she talks to me, because nowadays we are still in the working from home environment, right? And that client of mine in particular, their organization has been working from home since 2020. Okay, so up until now they are still fully working from home, so they don't really see each other. Okay, so she admitted to me that she actually talks to me more than she talks to my colleagues. Okay, so like what I'm trying to say is you gotta build that connection, with your clients and whatnot, so that it makes your working life easier. I would say it makes it more bearable. It makes it more fun, I would say. Okay, so it's not just about work. All the stressful workload and whatnot. The work is gonna be there. You can't change your workload. You can't control it. I would say, it's assigned to you. It's either you take it or you leave it. But how are you gonna make it bearable? How are you gonna make it fun for yourself? How are you gonna make it a meaningful experience? That's on you. Okay, so remember, purpose is always the first, and secondly, build good connections with your teammates, with your colleagues, with your batchmates, with your client. And the third one is just try to appreciate the small things that you go throughout your career. Okay, so these small things that I'm talking about is really, for me, I always focus on the fact, and I always appreciate the fact that I am learning new things each and every day. That is one thing I love about my career. It's not routine, it's not repetitive. I always have something new to learn each and every day, okay, from each and every one and from each and every problem that arises, okay. And I think back then, before the pandemic and whatnot, we we were given, because for in audit you have to, just last time you had to travel a lot, okay, because you have to go to uh, clients offices, okay. So sometimes these offices, they may be far from you, sometimes they are outstation. So I used to enjoy traveling, okay, for this purpose, and for your information, if you work in an audit or a big accounting firm, right, at staff level to senior level, you don't have your own desk, okay. You know how, sometimes I think most of you, when you imagine working at your own office, you will have your own table, right? You can put your stuff and whatnot, okay. But this is not the case in accounting firms, okay. You don't have your own desk until you become, at least in EY. I'm not sure about other big fours, but I think the arrangement is quite similar. But in EY, you don't get your own table until you become a supervisor, okay. So because the reason why is that because they know you won't be in office most of the time, okay, you will be in clients' offices instead, okay. So the enjoyable part of this is that you get to see other people's offices. In 1 year you are like working at maybe 10 different offices, so you get to see like different kind of office structures, different kind of pantries and whatnot. So I enjoyed that kind of, these small experience that maybe some people overlook. So I think it's these things which are part and parcel of the job is what makes it fun, okay. Not I wouldn't say, of course I wouldn't say all the workload is fun, okay, because I will admit those are stressful, but again, it's how you make it meaningful for yourself, okay. So do try to find these small things that you can enjoy, okay. So all right, so that is on the survival part, okay. All right, so okay, so apart from I just want to deviate a bit from auditing, okay. So apart from auditing, you can actually if we are talking about the big four first, okay. So at the big four, actually, for someone who is from accounting background, so apart from working at the auditing audit department, okay, you can also actually go for tax department, okay. So we go for tax department. Your specialization is more to tax, okay. So you will be it's either you are working for sorry, what is it called? It's either you are working for the corporate tax department, whereby you'll be computing business tax computations, okay, for companies, or there are also departments for like I think individual tax as well, okay. And also apart from that, there are also consultancy departments, okay. So these are many career opportunities that you can consider, okay. So I think for big four accounting firms and also medium firms, the arrangement is quite alike, okay. So medium firms are like I think many of you would have heard of them as well, like Grant Thornton, okay, Crow Horwath, BDO, and all these. Okay, so you guys can research further on what are the, what are some of the accounting firms which are in Malaysia, and then perhaps some of you might consider a career in accounting, meaning you want to venture, you don't want to go to accounting firms, you want to go for a career in perhaps in a multinational company accounting department instead, so it's really a matter of choice, okay? And then I believe some people, they would like to um, perhaps they want to kickstart their own business in accounting, okay? But I believe I do advise you to get experience first, because you have to, if you if you actually take up the ACCA professional course, right, you have to complete the PER requirement for 3 years. So it's good to get the exposure from somewhere else first, okay? Get the knowledge, get the experience, and then after that, kickstart with whatever you want to do. Okay, so there are a lot of opportunities that you can actually consider, or you can also go to government bodies as well. Okay, there are opportunities there as well, like at Jabatan Accountant Negara, Jabatan Audit Negara. Okay, these are also opportunities that you can consider. Okay, so but as for me, my journey was, I started my journey at the Big Four. Okay, so I think that's a typical story that you usually hear, right? Maybe from your seniors. Okay, so just maybe a bit more on my journey. So I think after the first year of survival, right, that I mentioned just now, I think the second year it became, I won't say easier, but at least now you have an idea of how things work. Okay, so you are more relaxed in the sense that you are not as lost as you were in your first year. Okay, but of course now that you are more familiar and you are more experienced, your superiors will trust you more. Okay, so the pressure might come from the fact that you will have more workload, definitely, okay? Because people trust you more now, okay? So, but again, like I said, the ways to manage it is first, focus on your purpose. Second, your connections. And third is enjoy the small things, okay? Find joys in those in the things that you do, okay? And on top of in regards to the connections that I mentioned just now, so because just now I mentioned build good connections with your teammates, right? With your batchmates and with your clients. But there's also one more thing that I think many people missed, okay, based on my observation when I'm working, is that because when you work at an accounting firm, or actually anywhere in any company, okay, you will have administrative staff, okay? So these administrative staff or employees, they might not directly work with you, okay, in the sense that they don't do the audit work or they don't do the tax computation work with you, okay? They are not the people who you deal with on daily basis, okay, in terms of your job, but they do help you a lot in terms of, because you won't just be doing like tax computation or just audit work. There will be some administrative things that you might need to engage into, okay? So for example, when you first kickstart, right, let's say you enter office one day, on your first, second day, and then there isn't really anyone around and you need to use the photocopier machine, for instance, okay? And you have no idea how to use it, okay? So because different companies will have different systems of how to operate the photocopier machine. It might sound simple now, but then when you are actually in the office, you are like, how on earth do I operate this machine? Okay, because like for example in EY, we have to like tag our ID first and then put on some code, and then only we can actually scan or print out something. Okay, so if you don't build connections, with administrative staff, for instance, then, if you are like too shy to ask questions and seek guidance from these people, then, your life, I would say it will be slightly harder, so it's good to build connections with them as well. And as you progress through your career, I see the higher you climb the corporate ladder, the more administrative things you will have to do. Okay, so not just so when you have good connections with administrative staff, it will help you in terms of working around all these administrative things. Okay, because they are actually more familiar. Okay, so it's always good to build connections with them, because I received a remark from one of the uh, um, secretaries of an audit partner. Okay, she made a remark saying that she doesn't recognize, or she doesn't know most of the new staff today, because they are not as familiar. They are not as friendly and as engaging as the people who joined back then. You can't expect all these administrative staff to come to you, right? You have to go to them, approach them, say hi to them. All these kakak, all these abang-abang at the office, right? Yeah, you have to make those connections with them. Okay, so again, this is how you survive. Okay, so in terms of other struggles and joys, of course, there will be times that you will feel like breaking down, like, I can't take this anymore, especially as you progress more and more throughout your career. But again, just go back to all the three things I mentioned just now, okay? And of course, I won't just, again, in the end, whatever it is, keep going and focus on your purpose. Because if you stop too early, or I would say, if you stop at an entry point level, if you do have other plans, then it's okay. But if you're just gonna stop just because you can't take it anymore and you don't have any plans, then I would say it's a waste. You have been spending all your time, all your sweats and tears studying and all these years, and then in the end, if you decide to stop there at the early stage of a career without a solid plan, it will be a waste. So you must really, that's why I always tell people, remember your purpose, why you step into this field at the first place. Okay? And I think the fourth point is, because at one point, like I said, you will reach a breaking point. Okay, so there will be times when you feel like giving up, so you need to have someone that you can trust to talk with. Okay, so it can be anyone, it can be a friend, it can be a teammate, anyone, but someone who you can confide with, someone who you can talk and share with, so that they can shed a positive light to whatever your struggle. Okay, and so that you will start to see that, oh, hey, this is just a temporary thing. Okay, I just need to take my time, take a deep breath, and then get back up once again. Okay, so I won't say that it won't be stressful, but I can say that it's gonna be worth it. Okay, especially once you hit that 3 years mark, and then you submit your PR application to ACCA, and then they tell you, oh, okay, now you are officially a member of ACCA, and then you get that certificate. I can tell you, it's one of the most satisfying feelings ever. Okay, because you know how much you struggle throughout those 3 years. Okay, so whatever it is, set your purpose right. Okay, there's no one right way in accounting, I would say. Some people might want to stay in an audit firm for to the end of their career life. Okay, some of you might want to become an audit partner. Okay, so go for it. Some of you might not want to stay in audit firm forever. Okay, you just want to stay for 3 years, and then after that you want to venture into a career in other MNCs maybe. Okay, so go for it. If that's something you want for yourself. Some of you might want to stay until you become a manager at an accounting firm, for instance, and then you want to get out of there, and then you want to open up your own firm. Be it. But you must have a career plan. Okay, what is your vision? What is your plan for the next 3 years, 5 years, 7 years? Okay, and work around it. Okay, so you must have a very solid plan, I would say, but it's okay if you don't always know what you want, all right? But I would say try to set at least short-term goals first, and then as you move along, maybe some of you, like, you don't really know yet what you want for yourself in the next 10 years, for example, okay? But don't be too hard on yourself. Take your time to build that plan, that long-term plan. But don't take too long, I would say, okay? Because, the clock is ticking and you don't want to be wasting too much time doing things that won't, I would say, won't bring value to your long-term goal, okay? So that's why I always say it's important to have a long-term goal and plan as well, a purpose, I would say, okay? And yeah, okay, so, and don't ever make your career decision based on what someone else is doing. Okay, that is very important because there are a lot of opportunities, like I said, in the accounting field. So do what you think is best for yourself. Okay, what you like for yourself. There's no one right answer to this field. Okay, so once you get once you complete your PER, right, after 3 years, so what happens next? So some people, they want to pursue a longer career in audit, for instance, or in tax, maybe. They want to stay in the firm that they are currently working at, and they want to become an audit partner or tax partner. So be it. Okay, there are some people who want to benefit from that title, because actually, for your information, okay, in Malaysia, or I believe in many countries, okay, in order for you to actually operate a professional service business, okay, like let's say you want to open up your own firm, right, or you want to open up your own enterprise which provides accounting services, you need to be a chartered accountant, okay? So actually, for you to provide those kind of services without being a chartered accountant, it's actually illegal, okay? So that's why that is one of the importance of having the title as well, okay? And on top of that, definitely the title definitely gives you some it shows credibility, I would say, okay? People recognize it, it's a title that is recognized worldwide. I would say nowadays most people know what ACCA is, right? What ACCA is, and they recognize that title. And I would say on top of that, definitely, okay, as someone who joins the Big Four, or I believe any other firms, or any other company, if you put someone who has a professional accounting cert beside someone who does not, okay, you have the same level of experience, background, but this particular person has a professional cert and this other person does not have a professional cert, your salary level would actually vary, okay? This is another thing that you have to consider as well, okay? So this is why monetary wise, I would say it's important as well, okay? Because it does play a role in the level of salary that you are earning, okay? So you actually earn more when you have a professional accounting certificate, okay, like ACCA. This is another thing, all right? And I think the third important part is when you are part of a professional accounting body like ACCA, all right, these bodies, they will, especially after you become an ACCA member, right, you have to maintain your membership by going through a continuous professional development, meaning you have to attend a certain number of professional development trainings, okay, a certain number of hours every year, okay, in order for you to maintain that title, okay? So in a sense, this requirement will automatically enhance your knowledge, okay? It will make you or build you into someone who is always updated with the latest changes, okay, with what's going on in the with the accounting industry today, okay, because accounting standards are always evolving, right? Okay, though not always, but you need to but you have to remember that accounting relates to it's something that is related to many different industries, okay? So different industries may have different ways of applying accounting standards and principles, okay? So it's a dynamic and always evolving field, I would say, okay? So being part of a professional body, being a member, being a student of a professional body, it requires you to automatically be updated and be alert, okay, of all the changes that happen, okay, in the world today. So this is one more thing that will distinguish you, okay, from someone who does not have a professional cert, or from someone who is not part of a professional accounting body, okay? Your knowledge, I would say. Okay, so I would highlight, first is the authorization to practice, second is the salary. I mean, as much as we say it's not just about the money, of course the money matters, right? We all need money to survive. Okay, and the third one is the continuous professional development. Okay, so yeah, I think that's about it in terms of what I want to share. But if you have any question or anything that you want me to highlight further on, you can let me know. Yep. So I think for our Q&A session, are we starting now, or do we uh, drag it to the end of the session?
The Q&A will be at the end of session, after Puan Sri Dawati's session. We already have questions flowing in the slider link, so later on we'll just go into it.
Okay, all right, okay. So for Puan Irdawati session, will it start now? So
Yes. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So I think I will just wrap up my session, and then later on we'll proceed with the for the Dawati session and the Q&A, right? Yeah. So just to sum up in summary, I hope you guys have a clearer view of how of what's waiting for you after your studies. Okay, and any further question you can ask during the Q&A session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Hanan. Then we will proceed to Puan Sri Dawati.
Hi, thanks, Shireen. Thanks for excellent sharing, Hanan. I think it was very useful. You have shared, I think, some very practical advices for our young students here on how to survive your first few years. Yeah. So I think without taking too much of time, I would just like to launch into my presentation. But before I start, I understand that this event is very diverse. And for the benefits of those attending, I just like to inform in advance that this session is really targeting to the Bumi Putras in terms of the programs that we have, but feel free to stay on, and hopefully perhaps after this session you may be able to share some of the information with some of your friends who may not be in this session. Yeah, so without further ado, once again, thank you so much for the committee for organizing this. I think I was at the university last year. Was it last year or year before? But I was there lah. You all had a similar event. I was speaking to you guys, or rather probably your seniors, face to face when times were still good. I don't think we were traveling in mask then. It was probably 2 years ago. But anyhow, let's just make do with what we have. I think we have been living online for a couple of years now, so this is the new norm. Let me just introduce myself again. My name is Seri. I'm the head of market development at Malaysia Professional Accountancy Centre, and I have with me today assisting me with the PowerPoint because I can't manage that very well. It's my colleague Firdani, And I also have two other colleagues with me, Nasrul as well as Muhammad Shakir. So Nasrul and Muhammad Shakir are the two main person who will be engaging with universities and schools moving forward. Okay, so now let's talk about MyPac a little bit. With the time that we have, I think we've got ample of time before we go to Q&A. So I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of questions for Ms. Hanan. Right, now about MyPac. So MyPac was actually established in 2015, yeah, with our sole objective to increase the number of Bumiputra professional accountants, and we were actually established at the recommendation of Malaysian Institute of Accountants. So what we do basically is that when we talk about the Bumiputra community, maybe many of you here are already enlightened. So you know what ACCA is all about, you know what would be your career progression. But when we're talking about larger population, yeah, that makes up into the nation's population, and especially when we're targeting, for MyPac, we are really targeting for those for the Bumiputra from the B40 category or from the Asnaf families. Asnaf, for your information, it's a Islamic term for those families um, that struggle financially, and there is a certain threshold, so they fall even below. So we believe that to eradicate and to elevate the living status is through education. There is no point, because sometimes when you see in the newspaper or in your Facebook, you see a lot of the zakat authorities go and give beras lah, go and give milk and sugar. Okay, that can sustain them for a month or so, but what's next? So we felt that whatever little money that the zakat authorities has should be invested into education and helping the families through enhancing the students, or rather the children's academic ability and qualification through going through the professional qualification. So when we talk about the target group, really MyPac is focusing into the B40 and also the ASTA category. So we have to do a lot of outreach programs because, like I said earlier on, many of you here are already converted. You know what is ACCA, you know what is ICAW, you know what is CP Australia. It's a matter of choosing which one. Yeah, because you know, after having your degree, your from your reputable university, but if you want to go further, you need to have professional qualification. So that's fine. But when we talk about larger population, when we talk about the students from the underprivileged families, they don't know. Yeah, they are not aware of the ability or the career prospect as a professional accountant. Yeah. So what we do is that my team would go out to schools, to sekolah-sekolah yang has a lot of underprivileged students. We go and talk to them, give them some information, give them the encouragement so that they can actually pursue the professional qualification. So what we do is we go for the outreach sessions, and then we talk about the sponsorship facilitation. MyPac is a not-for-profit organisation. We receive a little bit of grant from the government, but that is to sustain us for our operation. To give sponsorship, we don't have the money. So what we do is that we go to corporates lah. We go to the zakat authorities. I will go to corporates. Later on, I will share with you some of our partners. We ask them for money. Yeah. Why do we need that money? We need that money to sponsor the underprivileged students that we went to talk to. Yeah. So the money doesn't come from really the government, but rather from the corporates or the zakat negeri. For example, zakat Perak, zakat Perlis, zakat Kedah, so on and so forth. So they give us a contribution of money. With that money, we then help the deserving students to go through the professional qualifications. But they have to go through a selection process. Not just because you're poor and you want it, yeah. We also need to be fair because, professional qualification, I think Ms. Hanan touched a little bit just now, it's hard, yeah. I think some of you, if you all have had the chance to register as ACCA Accelerate or may have attempted the examination, you understand that it is actually hard, yeah. So we want to make sure those who go through the system has the opportunity or has the ability to do professional qualification. So they have to go through a selection process. This is where we actually interview them, check on their paper to make sure that all their declaration is correct, and then we talk to them and see what are the determination level in addition to their academic achievement. So they will have to go selection process. So those that actually pass, then they will be given the sponsorship opportunity. So that will be covered. So the stakeholder partnership is really referring to our engagement with the corporates and also the stakeholders that we're serving lah, like the zakat authorities, the families, the schools, the children, yeah. And when just now they went through the selection kan, so whoever that is successful would then be in our system. Yeah, they will actually be allocated. This is a full-time study. They will be allocated to a college. Right now, our main training service provider is actually Timba College from Timba Group. So the students will have to study with the college that we have selected, because we monitor the college to make sure that, you know, everybody benefits from it. Benefit in the sense that the students know that they're getting quality tuition, and the tuition provider or training service provider also know that we are watching them all the time. Yeah, so they will be monitored throughout their journey. So this whole thing is being put together for what? To increase the number of Putra professional accountants, particularly targeting for those from the underprivileged families. Because we believe, and I think we have been around for 7 years now, we have seen some of our graduates, yeah, from the B40 family, from the ASAF category, have actually obtained the ACCA qualification, and now they're securing better jobs. So when they have better jobs, they could actually help also their families, yeah. So that's really the intention of why MyPac was actually established in 2015. Some introduction to we are governed by our board of directors. If you can see on the left hand side, it's not very inclusive yet at this moment. I'm sure we're going to get a female director very soon. If you can see, all the managing partner from PwC, from EY, from KPMG, they're all with us, and they all this board of directors contribute their time and their ideas and their energy pro bono, or rather I would say free of charge. We don't pay them any direct aid, because I'm sure in your project paper sometimes you have to study annual report kan, so you will see directors remuneration, directors benefits, directors blah blah blah, but our directors don't get anything. When they come to meeting at the office, we'll give them coffee, that's it. Yeah, there's no remuneration, there's no director's fees, there's no meeting fees, nothing. So they really contribute their time, and they are very busy, you know. They are executive chairman of PwC, managing partner of EY, Datuk Raouf. It's hard to get them together, but when we get together, they really make use of the time by giving us their idea. Okay, maybe you can go here to go, because we have to get money kan. Okay, let's go here and get money, so we go together. So they really put in their time for the benefit of the target group that we're looking at. We also have Datuk Fazlan. He's a member of Bursa Malaysia Berhad. And some of you may recognize Datuk Nik Hashuddin. He was with us from the start actually. He was a board member, but then after he got appointed as Tabung Haji CEO, he had to let go of MyPac. So now that he's no longer there, he is back as our board of directors, board member for MyPac. So they have been regularly contributing to us. And because when we talk about the money that we receive, predominantly we actually receive zakat provision. The zakat either come from the zakat authorities, like the state zakat, zakat Perak, zakat Perlis, whatever. But we also from the corporate side, because they too pay zakat. Yeah, zakat perniagaan. I'm not sure whether this is covered in the syllabus a little bit here and there, but organizations do pay some portion of it, zakat perniagaan. So from that zakat perniagaan, there is an allocation that they can actually use for this kind of things, yeah, for helping the community, so on and so forth. So because all that zakat money, we have to ensure that the utilization must be Sharia compliance. However we spend the money, however even program that we want to roll out would have to be vetted by our Sharia committee, or rather our Sharia advisor. So we appointed a Sharia advisor to make sure that whatever that we do is in line with the Sharia requirement, Sharia compliant. Our team, we're quite small. There's, I think, probably about 16 of us. We are divided into 3 teams, and we are headed by or led by Datuk Zaitun, who is also an ACCA member. She is, I would say, MyPac is her baby. She is a founder of MyPac. When MyPac was actually established, why? Because she came from a humble background, yeah. And she says she only has this one qualification. She only has ACCA. She doesn't have degree, she doesn't have master, don't have anything. She only has ACCA. But now she sits in a lot of boards. Yeah, one of it is Sam Dhabi, and there are a few others which you will see in the future. But previously she sat in Tabung Haji, she sat in Bank Islam. So she sat in a lot of these boards. And she always, when we get the chance to speak to her, she always relate to the story that she came from a humble background. Her father was a taxi driver, and at one point the father fell sick, so she had to stop working. She had to study ACCA on a part-time basis. So she started studying like 4 o'clock in the morning before go to class and whatever not. So she felt that the qualification has given her so much, has actually changed her life, has actually allowed her to experience a lot of things in life. So that's why she felt that it is now time to give back. So that's why we're very particular about our target group. We don't go, if you have other means, you can go through that. But for those who are underprivileged that needed the help, those are the people that we are targeting. So she has been leading us for many years, about 7 years. I lead the market development, and Ms. Zarina, she heads the scholar management. Scholar management takes care of the scholar lah, whoever has been successful into the selection process. Then they will be monitoring whether the students go to class, don't go to class, performing an exam or not. If they don't perform, we'll cut the sponsorship and out they go. We don't keep people until like many years and then we decide, oh, okay lah, enough already. No, we are quite mean. I know there's something somewhere there. I think maybe Shirin provided there. What? Don't give up. Okay, we give you 2 times chance. Don't give up 2 times. Masuk 3rd time, we cut you off. Because you're using other people's money. So if you don't back up, why should I be spending on you? We take that money allocation, we go find other people who may be able to do. So in terms of that scholar management bit, in terms of MyPac, we're very strict. Yeah. We call it hard love lah. Hard love means that we love you, but we be hard to you. Yeah. So if you don't do well, okay, cut. Yeah. So that's what we do. So we have our head of finance, who is a fellow of ACCA. We walk the talk. Also, our head of finance is ACCA qualified and a fellow member. So that's it. And then the team is supported by our respective team members. Next, Dani. So this is basically some of our achievements to date. We have actually helped about 964 graduates, or rather they have passed, but we helped through about 2,000 or close to 3,000 in the program. We have prize winners. Prize winners are nice to celebrate, but really for MyPac is about taking as many as possible through the finish line in the shortest period of time. And the passing rate, because of the various composition, the selection of students, and then the quality tuition that they receive, that's why MyPac is able to retain our pass rate every examination session at least 37% above the world pass rate. So that is something that what we are proud of. And you can see the small traction of number of Bumiputras professional accountants registered. If you can see on the Bumiputra professional accountants and 2098, so that's basically the number from MI MIA. So there is a little bit traction because many of the graduates, they did like Miss Hanan on a full-time basis. So they will need time to gather the experience and then converted as member, then only apply to become MIA member. So in time, the number will actually be slightly better than that lah. Okay, so next, Tani. So these are our partners. Where, like just now I mentioned to you that we work with the zakat authorities. We also with the corporates. The corporates, we actually, like I mentioned, they also contribute their zakat provision to us. So we have Bursa, we have Yayasan Khazanah, we have Maybank Islamic. Many of them have been with us for a number of years now, helping the cause. Some are new. For example, I think CIMB Islamic is new. One lagi, Bank Pembangunan, BPMB is new, but the rest of them have been with us for quite a number of years. Every year they contribute some fund to help the deserving students. Okay, now what do we have next? Okay, so this is something that I would like to, the main objective for us is actually to share for those of you who are currently studying at UNIMA. So I'm not sure if there are any other representatives from other universities. For the Bumi and the sponsorship that we have is targeted for those who are completing the degree in accountancy, and they will then be put through into the ACCA qualification. And after that, after they finish, as Ms. Hanan mentioned just now, they will go through the training, or not training, working, must collect the work experience for 3 years to become an ACCA member. So what MyPac has to offer really is, next slide. Okay, so what we have to offer is this. For those of you who are interested and meets the requirement, you can apply to us. But the program is such that it is built for 2 years. You will do the ACCA qualification. You are given 2 years to complete 4 modules. But for the last few sessions, I think, or a couple of years, because our selection is very stringent, quite a number of students are able to complete the ACCA qualification within 1 year. 4 papers within 1 year. Yeah, 1 year, and not 1 year and a half, 1 year, 1 year and 3 months, like that. So they are able to complete, not even 2 years. So the sooner you can do, the sooner you can go out to work. Yeah. And the students will then be studying at Timba Education Group. I think currently it is still online, but they will be required to still go to the hostel. You need to leave the comfort of your home, must go to the hostel, and then from there you'll be within the people or within the group of students that are studying for the same thing. So it can help motivate you. We believe that sometimes when you're at home, too many distraction. Yeah. Sometimes it's not just distraction, but when we talk about the underprivileged families, yeah, sometimes they need, instead of studying, they actually need to work and help the family. So it's kind of defeat the purpose, because we want you to focus, concentrate, finish with the qualification. After that, go and find job at EY or PwC or wherever, so that you can help your family in a long term. Yeah. So what are the requirements? Well, for now, we are only focusing for the Bumiputra, but I think hopefully, if we have the opportunity, then we may be able to extend this further apart from that. But for now, it is for the Bumiputra. Must complete their degree with a CGPA minimum of 3.0, and it must be from universities that obtain 9 papers exemption from ACCA. Because you have lesser exemption, I don't have the money to fund them. Yeah, because the lesser exemption you get, which means the more paper you have to do. Whereas when we get the money from the corporates, it's already packed that, okay, the candidate will only do 4 papers. So they will give us the money that is enough for that. Then this is the monthly household income. I think even though we are looking at the entry requirement, they need to be what do you call it, ASNAF and B40. There's some allowance that we may look at co-funding with the students, basically. Yeah, if let's say you exceeded a little bit the income threshold. So you may be getting some help from MyPac, but not all. For example, those from the B40 category, they get everything, the accommodation, the allowances and everything. But those who probably slightly higher may not necessarily get the accommodation or the allowances. We only help to pay for the tuition fees. Okay, so what we cover would be the tuition fees, the ACCA fees, accommodation and allowances. Those are for generally the candidates from certain category. Okay. So why MyPac? Yeah, I'm sure if you've done any research or some research, you will see that there are other organizations that do offer financial assistance for the professional papers. But I think that our strong point is really in terms of the consistent monitoring that we do. It's not just about monitoring. It's not about being a cikgu to you and then or being a pengawas or prefect for you, but it's more in terms of the journey that you will take together with us. Yeah, there'll be a lot of session where there will be a motivation session, engagement with our funders, you know, all those activities, which hopefully will help to instill confidence in you, will help to motivate the candidates to go through the difficult examination. And we also have what we call our signature program, MyPac Professional Development Program. This is the program where you also need to, it's compulsory, you need to complete. And this is where we help to build your technical, not technical skill, your soft skills. Technical skills will be covered by your examination. More of a soft skill, like your thinking skill, your critical thinking skill, and exposure to various speakers from various fields that can share their experience. That is also through our networking session. There will be an opportunity for you to meet potential employers and then meet the alumni, so you could exchange ideas. And then in some sessions, for especially for those that come through the program from the SPM, they will be allocated with a mentor. So they have like a buddy to help them through. Yeah. Employment opportunities is really, if you have ACCA qualification, generally it's quite easy for you to obtain a job. But in any case, if there are challenges, and then my MyPac would actually try to assist in terms of job placement. And in terms of career industry insights, this is basically together with the networking session lah, because we normally invite speakers from the industry to share. So like today, you have really an insightful session with Miss Hanan because she has just joined EY for I think a few years, and she is still in the category where she hasn't achieved her own table. So she is now telling you how to behave when you don't have your own table at the office. Yeah. So we try to make it relevant because sometimes when we talk so much about the leadership, whatever not, we forgot how we started. Yeah. And I think the session like this, where Miss Hanan reminded us, go and talk to the admin people. And who would tell you, who would tell you that when you go to the new place, go and talk to everybody. You are expected to swim the moment you join in. Yeah. So these are the tips that hopefully will help you to navigate your early days. Sometimes the work can be managed. What you cannot manage is the environment. I feel that sometimes you're already so bright. You already have your degree. Then you have your ACCA or whatever professional qualification that you have. Why is it that you find it so difficult to survive in, let's say, the audit world? I don't think it's the work, because you already pandai. You already know the technical skill. But I think the environment, sometimes you feel that probably not welcoming, and you feel it's not welcoming because sometimes we just sit there and wait for people to welcome us. So what Hanan said just now was very important. You go and welcome people, even though you're new. You go and talk to people, because this is very important. Yeah, the ability to just have a thick face and go talk to people. Yeah, because you don't know when they're gonna help you. It can be as simple as borrowing a stapler or borrowing a scissor. If you don't go reach out, you'll be left with no stapler. You'll be left with no scissors. Yeah, so I think this covers for MyPac section. Uh, if you want to find out more, can always visit our website mypac.org.my. There's also link for you to what do you call it, to apply, or you could actually apply using our QR code here. Or if anything fails, you just send us a WhatsApp, so we'll help you through. Yeah, the number is there. And I think this would be the end of my presentation. So I'd like to hand this over back to Ms. Shuin, the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Puan Sri Dawati. Thank you, Ms.
No
Hanan.
worries.
I believe, yes, it's important, like Ms. Hanan said, that she showed us that the career as a professional accountant, the humble beginnings, how you start, her survival tips was extremely important, especially for the students who will believe like we are all introverts. As accountants, yes, I believe most of us, we are introverts. So for us to actually begin there, for us to know how to reach out to people and everything. So thank you so much, Ms. Hanan, for that. And Puan Sri Dawati, thank you for your scholarship opportunities for the Bumiputra students that wait, especially with the pandemic, and then the disaster strike, the Banjir. I believe most students are currently looking for opportunities for them to still follow their passion despite all the troubles that they have to overcome. So I think we will just move forward towards the Q&A session. The technical team, you may share the Q&A Slido link now. Ms. Hanan, Puan Sri Dawati, is it all right if I read the questions? And then I'll visit it. Okay. So we have 17 questions to await. All right. So the first question, we will go to the first question. So the first question is for, there is a high rate of competition to get into the big four firms. Do you have some tips to increase our chances of getting in? So I think this can either go to Ms. Hanan or Puan Sri Dawati. The high rate of
Ms. Hanan.
Okay, yeah. All right, okay. High rate of competition to get into big four firms. There are some tips to increase our chance of getting in. Okay. So I think I will talk based on my experience and also based on, because they were, I mean, after a few years I joined, so there were some of the, my juniors back in college days, and they joined, before they went for the interview, they came to me and asked for tips as well. So I think what I can highlight is that, yes, you are right, there is a high rate of competition to get into the big four nowadays, but I can also tell you upfront that there are actually a lot of vacancies nowadays in the big four. Okay, actually the turnover rate at the big four is quite high. Okay, so yes, high competition, but also a lot of vacancies. In terms of chances of getting in, right, I'm not very sure about other big four interview or recruitment stages, right? But what I can share about EY, but I think the tips would be applicable for other big four as well. All right, so basically the first stage is that they will do phone call interview. Okay, it will be a short one, around 5 minutes. Okay, so they will ask those typical questions like why EY, why why do you want to join audit or tax or whatever department you're applying for. So I would say just you must have an answer for every question. Don't be like, oh, I'm not sure or I don't know. Okay, because they are not, when it comes to interviewing with the big four, right, they don't actually expect you to know all these very technical things based on my experience. Yeah, because when I was in the recruitment stage, and in fact when I asked around again to my colleagues and then to my juniors, none of them, or I could say most of them, did not get any technical question. When I say technical questions, I'm talking about knowledge, accounting related questions. Okay, they didn't really ask these kind of questions because one thing is that they know that you have gained the knowledge from your studies, be it degree studies, professional accounting studies. Okay, you have learned these things. Okay, it's just a matter of applying the knowledge in the working life. But what they are more focused on is they want to see how confident you are. Okay, so that's why I say the questions that are asked to you, just answer. Okay, you don't always have to get it right, but you must have you must sort of know why you are applying, first of all. That's why I said purpose is very important, because people will ask you these kind of questions like why EY, why Big Four, why audit, why tax, why, because they want to see, do you know why you are doing what you want to do, at least at the surface. Okay, you gotta know why. And one more thing is to be yourself. Don't try to, sometimes people, they want to adjust so hard so that, they can meet whatever the company requires of them. But in the end, you just deviate from who you are, and then the interview will just go upside down. So, I think at the interview stage, because I think most of you would have prepared your resume and whatnot, right? Make sure you know every single thing that you write on your resume. You don't just blindly put things in your resume. Okay, you must know, if you say that you participated in this particular association or clubs, right? Okay, you were this was your position. You must know what you did, what was the struggles that you faced. Okay, these kind of things, they like to ask you these kind of things. When I was interviewing, they actually because when I see you guys are part of this accounting society at your college, right? At your university, for example. I was actually part of a similar association last time when I was in college. So I put this in my resume. Okay, they actually asked me they actually went and dig into this particular thing that I wrote in my resume. They asked me, so what was your role in your association? Last time we called it Association of Professional Students at my college. Okay, so that was the name of the association. They asked me, so what was your role? So what was the biggest struggle that you faced when you were I was the head of corporate affairs at that time. Okay, when I was in my association at that time. So what was the biggest struggle that you faced? How did you overcome this? So they don't ask you all these accounting standards kind of questions. They want to see what kind of person are you. Okay, they want to see your character. How motivated are you? So you have to show this. You have to emphasize on this. Okay, they want to see how motivated and how strong-willed and how how purposeful are you. These are the kind of things that you need to highlight and show during your interview. So I think these are some things that you need to focus on, rather than, because I believe in terms of knowledge, you already have it, and you can enhance it further during your working life. Yeah, so try to make sure that your resume is, whatever you write in your resume, you know exactly what's going on in there. Don't just put things in there for blindly. Yep. And just be yourself. I hope that answers your questions.
Yes, it does. I think it more than just answers the question. Okay, we already have tips on how the questions will be. So guys, prepare for your interview now itself. So we'll go to the next question. Okay, Miss Anand, I think this for you also. If we are introverts, how do we build connection with others? Do you have any tips?
Okay. I think it's a bit hard for me to answer this question, because I'm actually more of an extrovert, honestly speaking. Okay, I like engaging with people. I love it. I enjoy it. But I do have a lot of introvert friends. Okay. I would say one thing is that when you are particularly in audit, particularly, and maybe in tax as well, you, like it or not, you have to work as a team. Okay, so when you are working in a team, whether you like it or not, you will have to interact with people, right, at some points. And especially when you first join any company or any firm, when it's your first job, definitely there will be a lot of things that you do not know, right? Okay, so when you do not know, there will there's this one rule that I call the desperation rule. Okay, last time when I was new, okay, I realized one thing is that in the end when you are desperate, right, I don't mean to make it sound negative, okay? Please take it in a positive light, share the positive light to it, okay? I know so for introverts it's a bit hard for us sometimes, right, to engage with people, but in the end, you know that I do not know this, okay? So the only way is to ask people, okay? So just start with perhaps a simple, like, nowadays it's a bit hard because we don't really go to the office a lot, for most organizations, but I would say when you are at the office, right, just try to make a simple gesture, like smile at your colleagues, and then sometimes what I like to do is maybe you bring food that you can share with the people in your department. It doesn't have to be something expensive. You can like maybe treat people to some sandwiches or what. You bring in a big quantity so people know. Oh, okay. You just joined. This is who you are. Like, where are you from? Okay. Try to initiate small talks like what point Dawati mentioned just now. Sometimes you want to borrow what staplers. These kind of small things. So eventually the connection will grow. Okay, I would say, like, you don't just go to people when you need their help. Okay, that's not a good way to start. People will think like, oh, you are just coming to me when you need help. Okay, so do try to build connections with all these small gestures and uh, you know uh, small parts of the daily working life. Okay, so and eventually one day when you actually need their help, you won't feel embarrassed to actually seek help and guidance, because usually we'll feel embarrassed because we don't know the people, right? So try to establish connection from these small gestures first. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Miss Hannah. I think that was a very useful tip that I probably would just use. So I think next we can. The question is, what would you say is the biggest challenge working in a corporate world?
Biggest challenge. I think for me, right, of course it can vary for different people. But for me, it was dealing with different types of clients and teammates, and because people are different, right? All of us are different. Okay, and in particular when you are in a client serving business like audit, or when you are a tax agent, right, you have to deal with a lot of different kinds of clients, and there are clients who are very nice and very kind. They are very cooperative. There are some who see you merely as a hurdle, especially in audit, right? It's something that is a statutory requirement. No, not all clients like you. I can say that upfront, okay? There are some of them who just see you as, it's just another year of audit, I just have to go through this, they will, they have this negative perception of auditors, I would say. So this is one of the struggles that we face, because clients like automatically put that stamp on you, oh, we don't like auditors, okay? So it's a struggle for you to engage with the people who already have this particular stamp, about you. But in the end, it's just a matter of, you have to remember that you have to get the job done, right? So the biggest challenge is trying to tackle these kind of people, like to make them understand that this is a mutual benefit engagement. It's not just for them, or it's not just for us. We are both learning from the engagement, right? From the audit engagement or whatever working relationship that you have. Okay, so you have to try to sort of understand your client first. Sometimes there are nasty clients out there, okay? Some that don't want to cooperate, some who are very competent, so they tend to look down on you, especially when you are a fresh graduate and you become auditor. Then your clients are all like, finance managers, senior finance executive. They have worked longer than you, okay? For most of them, definitely they have worked for at least 10 years maybe. So these are the kind of struggles sometimes you will face. Some of them might look down on you. So, but you have to, maintain your cool face, just be calm. Don't show that you are that you are, panicking. Although inside you are like, oh no, what do I do? What do I do? Right? But it's okay. That's why you have your teammates. These are the people who you tell these kind of struggles to. Okay, so but with your client, you maintain your cool, and then you just try your best. If you do not know something, it's okay. You can say, oh, I will get back to you later. Then you discuss with your team. Okay, but my point is the biggest challenge is trying to, maintain that professional look in front of your clients and to not panic in front of them when there are things that you do not know, because you are dealing with people who actually have more experience than you. Yeah, so I think this is something, again, that's why back to the tip I mentioned just now, you must have a very good connection with your teammates, okay, so you can face this kind of issue together. Okay, the next one. Right.
Yes. So we'll proceed to the next question. So the next question is Ms. Anand, do you have any tips to pass ACCA papers?
Okay, interesting question. If I may share my journey a bit when I was studying ACCA, okay? So I started as a CAT student, right? I mentioned earlier. Then I pursued ACCA. So I was, Alhamdulillah, I passed all my papers on the first attempt until my very last paper. I actually failed my very, very last paper, which was AFM, okay? Or last time we call it P4, Advanced Financial Management. Okay? It was an optional paper. I sort of saw it coming before the result came out, okay? And since because it was my first time failing, right? I was a bit blur at first, like, okay, what do I do? Right? I was blessed enough, alhamdulillah, to not have failed any paper before that. But if you ask me for tips to pass ACCA papers, right, why did I highlight about my failure just now? Because the one thing I noticed that was different for that particular paper that I failed compared to the other papers that I had passed was actually my consistency at that point. Because I mentioned it was my last paper, right? At that point, I gotta be honest, I sort of like, it's been a few years, I kept on hustling, and then at the end, right, on my very last attempt, maybe I got tired, I would say, so the consistency was a bit, in terms of like how I studied, how I managed my, my studying time, the amount of time I allocated for practicing questions and whatnot, I think it sort of decreased. So I would say the key is to be consistent. Okay, to pass ACCA papers, you have to be consistent. It's not about being smart, it's not about being a genius. It's about being consistent with your effort, with your practice, with your, if you don't know something, ask questions to your lecturers and whatnot. But you have to be consistent in your journey, I would say. Yep.
Thank you, Ms. Hanan. Yes, I think consistency is the one thing sometimes when we lack, and then it just goes up, especially when it comes to accountancy. So for the next question, as a future accountant, how do you cope with AI challenge?
Oh, okay. A very interesting question as well. So actually when I'm working with UI, right, as an auditor, so especially the big fours, I would say they are very advanced when it comes to all these, AI, and then nowadays we are talking about all these IR revolution, right, and whatnot. So how do we cope with this AI challenge? So I would say one very good thing about working with the big fours, right, is the fact that they are very up to date, in the sense that the resources are unlimited. Okay, you want to learn about a new because nowadays accounting, right, we are more progressing towards digitalizing things. Okay, so including auditing as well. So the way that we do accounting and audit nowadays nowadays is very different from how it was done 10 years back, for instance, okay? A lot of things are being digitalized, okay? How to cope is that if you work in the Big Four, I would say is the way to cope is slightly easier because the resources are unlimited and you are always equipped the latest trainings, okay, in order for you to be knowledgeable in all these AIs, okay, that are involved in our day-to-day work nowadays. But perhaps if you do not work in the Big Four, I would say perhaps, okay, I'm not saying all companies are like that, but if let's say your companies have more limited resources in terms of training and in terms of opportunities for you to learn about new AIs and also technologies, you will have to be more proactive in terms of like finding perhaps courses outside there, right, that are related to AIs. And in fact, once you become part of ECCA or I believe other accounting bodies as well, they will always like send out all these, emails about, there are new courses that you can join about this and that, how to tackle, okay, there's a new AI technology and whatnot. So there are always, that's why I said, I highlighted just now, one of the benefits of being part of a professional accounting body is that you are always being fed with the latest information or evolvement of the industry, okay? They will always like provide you opportunities to attend courses, okay, that are related to the latest changes or latest evolvements in the industry. So in a sense, if you do attend all these courses, I believe definitely you will be able to equip yourself, okay, to cope with all the AI challenges.
Thank you, Ms. Anand. So for the next question, we have Ms. Anand, what are the real life challenges as an auditor faces compared to an accountant?
Okay. I think it's a bit not fair for me to answer this question because I've never become an accountant before, okay? I don't really have an experience as an accountant. But I can say in general, based on, because I do a lot of interactions, right, with my clients who are accountants, okay? So, so they do share their experience with me sometimes, okay? So I would say that as an accountant, right, you are working for a particular company, okay? So perhaps, for example, if you are an accountant at Petronas, for instance, okay? So it's an oil and gas company, right? In general, we know that. So your focus is on a particular industry, which is oil and gas, okay? So we know that accounting works as a principle, right? And we have standards, but the way you apply principles and standards in different industries can vary, okay? So for example, if you guys, I believe you guys have learned MFRS 15, right? About revenue, okay? So it's a very general standards, but when you actually apply that standard in a particular industry, the practicality of it can vary, okay? Okay, the way you recognize revenue in every industry differs, okay? So as an accountant, you are specialized in one particular industry. You only focus on the company that you are working on, and I believe you will be an expert in that particular industry, right? So, especially if you have worked for quite some time. But as an auditor, your challenges is that you do not only audit one single company, all right? You have to remember that you will end up being assigned to audit different kind of companies from different industries, okay? So you, in the sense that you have to be more knowledgeable and you have to be very up to date about different kind of industries, and you ask how, you never work in that industry, how are you supposed to know how that industry works? This is where reading comes into place, okay? So when I worked as an auditor, okay, I audited like a lot of companies from different industries. There were retails, there were construction companies, there were what else, perhaps all the time I audited a logistics company, freight forwarders, okay? So the way each of these industry recognize revenue. Okay, I'm just talking from one perspective. Recognize revenue is very different. Okay, so the challenges is that you have to learn how to apply the standards, the principles, to each and every one of these industries and sectors. Okay, so you have to be well versed, I would say. So how to be well versed is that you have to do a lot of readings and research. Okay, so I would say that is the struggle as compared to an accountant. I'm not saying being an accountant is easier though. Okay, each of these profession or fields has its own struggles and pros and cons, I would say. Yep.
Thank you very much, Miss Hanan. So the next question is, Miss, is it a requirement for us to take our ACCA if we plan to work for multi-million companies under the accounting department?
Oh, okay. I don't. Depending on the company that you are going to actually, I believe. Okay, if you are, maybe I will talk about accounting firms first. Okay, if you plan to go to accounting firms, okay, especially in the big four, right, or medium firms even. I think some medium firms even, they actually, and if you work in the tax or audit department, actually, if you do not have, for you to enter at entry level, you don't need a professional qualification. Okay, but actually, like for example, if you come from a degree background, right, they don't have any problem of appointing you to work with them. Okay, there's no issue with that. But after you actually become part of the firm, they will require you to obtain a professional qualification. So it's not necessarily ACCA. It can be, for example, right, in the big four, usually once, if let's say for example, you enter audit or tax department, okay, from with a degree, okay, in accounting, okay. So when you start your career, okay, and then after that they will tell you, okay, you actually have to obtain one of the professional qualifications, either ACCA or ICAEW or what else? CPA, for instance. Okay, so it's a requirement for you to actually, for your professional development in the long run. Okay, especially in accounting firms, right? In the big fours. Not sure about other big fours, but in EY, you are not allowed to promote to manager if you don't have a professional accounting qualification. Yeah, so it will actually influence your professional growth in the long run. Okay, but in terms of companies, if let's say like you want to become a multinational company, for instance, the requirement I believe will vary. Okay, maybe some companies will require you professional qualification, maybe some won't. Okay, but I believe your pay, your salary would definitely be influenced by the fact that whether you have a professional accounting qualification or not. Okay, I believe it will play a lot of role in many companies. Many companies nowadays, they do recognize that. I hope it answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Ms. Anand, and I apologize for the technical issues. We'll proceed to the next question. So, are there any sponsorship for students who are taking ACCA Accelerate program now, particularly for UNIMA students?
Sponsorship.
Okay. Thank you for the question. We have just launched our Accelerate program as a trial run last year with 5 universities. For now, I think for this year, we have actually received a green light from the board to expand it to other universities as well. So that should include UNIMAS. What we can do right now, if you could drop your name in the chat box, perhaps, we will be in touch with you. My colleague Nas will be in touch with you, and then we'll take you through. Because right now we have not actually promoted the Accelerate program to any universities, but since there is already a question from the participant here, if you could just drop, I suppose, your email address. Boleh private ke? Can the person who are asking it send a private message to my colleague Nasro? Because we don't want everybody to get your email address, kan? How do we do that, Miss Moderator?
I think they can PM, but if they can't, maybe the participant, since they're in our WhatsApp group, you can just PM one of our team members. So then
Yes.
they can give the details to the speakers.
Yes, can. That'll be helpful. Once we're ready to launch it nationwide, you will be able to see it on our Facebook. So please follow our Facebook and our Instagram, because that is where we normally make the announcements. And of course, the application would need to go through our website. Yep. Thanks for the question.
Thank you, Pansri Idawati.
No worries.
Next question is for you also. Can I still apply for MyPac if I already graduated, or MyPac only support those who are still students?
Okay, can. There is also a program where it is targeted to graduated students who have graduated. You can refer to our website www.mypac.org.my. You go under post degree, so you should be able to see if you can still meet the requirements lah.
Thank you. Okay, the next question is, are there any MyPac sponsorship that focuses on tuition fees for those who are in degree but are taking professional qualifications as well?
Okay, I think this is the same like the Accelerate program. The Accelerate is where you actually do your degree and do your professional qualification at the same time. So same thing, may I advise that the person who asked this question to leave your details with the committee members, and the committee member will then share the information with MyPac. We will then send you the information. Yeah? Thank you.
Thank you, Pansri Idawati.
No worries.
The next two last questions is for Ms. Anand. Ms. Anand, what is your motivation to continue accountancy?
Okay, beautiful question. I think in terms of motivation, right? Again, like I said, now you must always purpose for yourself, right? Whatever you do, a long-term goal. Okay, so for me, one of it is actually because I noticed from previous years back, from my observation, the people in our community today still lack a lot of financial literacy background in general. Okay, so I wanted to be the one who shed the light to these people. Okay, I wanted to be the one to understand it further and to sort of bring value back to the community in terms of I want more people to have financial literacy. I wanted more people to have accounting and financial knowledge. You know, they don't necessarily have to pursue accounting, okay? But I wanted to be the one who is able to share the knowledge, okay, regarding finance and accounting to people in layman terms, not just to people who are in the field itself. Okay, so for me, this is something that I want to work on in the long run. Okay, and that is one of the things that has been keeping me going on. So that is my motivation, and I always believe that whatever you do in life, right? Try because each one of us has a different purpose. Whatever purpose that you have, right? Always try to find ways back. How does your purpose enable you to give back to people, okay, to the community, to the population at large? Try not to just make it about ourselves. You know, in that way, it will create more intrinsic value for you in the long run. Okay, so you will feel more meaningful about your goal, okay, and it will want to keep you moving because you know it's not just about you, it's also about other people around you and your community. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Anand. Thank you. So we proceed to the last question for today. So Ms. Anand, what are some advices that you would give to current students and fresh graduates pursuing professional qualifications?
Okay. All right. Beautiful question. I actually miss the days when I was, studying ACCA full time. I don't miss sitting for the exam, but I miss being in that environment. Okay, so I actually really like this question. The advice I would give, right, as someone who pursued ACCA full time back then, some of you may decide to pursue it full time. Some may decide to pursue it part time, but either way, what I would say is, either way, it's very good and healthy for you. Again, like working life just now, build connections with people who are struggling and fighting with you you know because whatever we do in life, right, I always believe that if you do it together, if you're not doing it alone, you can always go further for the long run. Okay, because there are some people that they might think it's better for them to stick to themselves, just study on their own, because they think that they can focus better that way. Okay? But I always believe that yes, if you want to go fast, you go alone. You walk alone. But if you want to go far, you should walk together with other people. So I've always been the kind of person who want to walk far, want to go far. Okay, so I always tell people that if you are, especially when you are pursuing professional accounting courses, right? I've been there. It's hard. Okay, it's not that easy to pass, I would say, but it's not that hard either. But I believe what makes it bearable, what makes the process smoother, is having people around you who are in the same boat, fighting together with you, and so build good connections with your friends, with your lecturers. Okay, I always believe I have connections with my lecturers studying, and I still keep in touch with most of them until now. Okay, I always believe that good connections will always get you far. Okay, in the long run. So same goes for professional qualification studies. Don't struggle alone. Okay, it's already hard enough. So try not to make the process miserable for yourself. Okay, when you have friends, when you have connections with your lecturers, it always makes the process more bearable and more meaningful, I would say. Okay, and if you don't know, always reach out to your lecturers, to your friends, and don't overstress yourself. Remember that in the end, you don't just want a stressful outcome out of this. Okay, you want it to be a meaningful process. So try to enjoy the small things throughout the journey. Okay, so that you don't just see it as something stressful, but rather something meaningful and something that brings values to yourself and to other people in the long run. Okay, and I think just one last advice in terms of the qualification itself, right? Because many of you come from degree background, right? So the way we study for degree, and the way we study for professional qualification won't exactly be the same. Okay, so professional qualification may require more extensive practices. Okay, so what I would suggest is that try to do more reading, and then focus on practicing on questions. Okay, on past paper questions. Do it in exam conditions. Okay, in terms of trying to pass the papers and stuff, right? Do a lot of past papers questions under time exam condition. Okay, and don't just focus on trying to grasp the knowledge, but rather on how to apply the knowledge in your exam questions. Okay, I think that's the advice I would give.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hanan. I believe I've gained a lot from your session. And like you said, it's true that we have to be purpose-driven in order to get far. And it is important for us to always be motivated. So, and also Puan Sri Dawati, thank you for the amazing sponsorship opportunities that await our students. if the participants want to check more on these opportunities, you may go to their webpage at www.mypac. So before we dismiss, we would love to take a photo session with the speakers, with the participants. I hope you guys dah siap-siap pakai tudung semua, so we can just terus ambil gambar. So we'll give the participants a few minutes to open your cameras. Guys, come, let's take picture with the speakers. They took their time. Miss Ana bagi banyak tips ni. So kita buka kamera. Technical team standby.
Hi guys. Okay, so I hope everyone is ready. In the count of 3, I will snap our photo. Okay, wait. I see some more people opening cameras.
Okay, come guys. Ramai-ramai. Nanti kita letak kat Instagram. Tengok muka cantik.
Yeah.
Our beautiful speakers in spotlight. Our beautiful speakers.
Alright. So I think I hope there's any more who want to open the cameras. If there's no more, then I will directly proceed. Okay. Okay, so I'll proceed in the count of 1, 2, 3. Alright. Wait, just give me a second. Okay. Smile. 1, 2, 3. Alright. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait. Let me just change my settings. We'll just have two more. Okay. Wait, hold on. Alright. Smile. 1, 2, 3. Alright, this is the last one. Give us your best smiles. 1, 2, 3. Alright, thank you guys.
Thank you technical team. Thank you everyone.
Thank you. Thanks to
everyone.
organizers.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you to
speakers,
the organizers.
for the lovely session.
Okay, before we dismiss, a gentle reminder to all participants, we'll be having the next session this afternoon at 2 p.m. with representatives from CPA Australia and CRO. I apologize for the inconvenience just now. So again, a gentle reminder, we'll be having our next session at 2 p.m. with CPA Australia and CRO. So please do come. It will be a great session. And thank you again, guys, for this amazing energy. Thank you for opening your camera. Thank you for participating. For giving our best to the speakers. Speakers, thank you so much, Miss Anand, Puan Sri Dewati. This session was amazing, and I believe I've gained a lot. And the tips were amazing. Thank you so much once again. Currently, the technical team will proceed with the QR code for attendance. All right, guys, as you can see, this is the QR attendance for UNIMA students. For the non-UNIMA students, please find the attendance form checkout at the chat box. As you guys can also see, we have ongoing contests such as Find the Culprit, a challenging game that you guys can take, especially if you're bored during this break. So today the hint is on the amount of money flow in suspect's bank account is crucial evidence to identify the culprit. So you guys want to identify the culprit, please go and join this game. And as the webinar series goes on, there will be more and more hints going on. So also don't forget to fill in the feedback form before you guys leave. Thank you so much for coming once again. Thank you, and do not forget to fill in the checkout attendance for your e-cert. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the lovely session from the speakers.
Thank you so much, guys. Catch you later. Have a nice lunch.
Have a nice lunch
Thank
too.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Oh, my leg is cramped. Oh. Anyway, I'm finally done.
Mic buka, weh?
Hmm?
Mic buka.
You see this human. You see this human down here. She's been bothering me since just now. She made me laugh at the most weirdest timing. Uh-oh. We're still waiting.
Dan, jadi cantik gimana Dan?